public breakup. We watch them, talk about them, maybe even relate to them. Chad and Evelyn are the latest. Usher is in an ugly battle with his ex. Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries are in court. The list goes on and on. But what's it like for people whose love lives exist in the media spotlight? And what can we learn from them? And we are talking about relationships in the public. Joining me, host of Divorce Court and author of Making Marriage Work, Judge Lynn Toller. Relationship expert Marni Kinrys, author of 10 Mistakes Men Make with Women and How to Avoid Them, and star of Basketball Wives LA, and author of Love Ponds, a love guide, romance guide for couples, Jackie Christie. Jackie, what is your response to the breakup of Evelyn Lozado and Chad Johnson?
You know, I feel it's very unfortunate, Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
I know they loved each other. I followed their story. I've met Evelyn. She's a sweetheart. And to see them break up so quickly, it really affects me. And that's why I did the book.
Judge Toller, so much of this gets played out in front of cameras. In fact, my wife and I have a rule, no cameras in our house, because it seems like every time a camera gets into the house, the marriage, except for Ozzy and Sharon, every other marriage that has a camera on it dissolves. Is that a coincidence, or is that just the kind of person that wants to have their marriage in the public, or is it a function of being in the public?
Well, it's funny that you said that about your wife and you. I've got someone approached me for a show in the home, and my husband says, you can do it, but you'll have to find another man to do it with, because I will not do it with you.
My husband said the same thing.
So clearly, it wasn't going to work. I don't think it's necessarily the cameras in the home, because when you think about it, there are the Duggars and the Little People Big World. There are those who can do it and do it successfully, but I think that when you have celebrity and when you do put cameras in the home, you need a little struggle, you need a little drama, and it feeds on itself, it builds on itself, and the celebrity in it of itself makes a relationship more difficult.
Marni, how's that? Celebrity makes it difficult.
Because you are a celebrity, you're being watched by tons of people around the world, and you're expected to do something. You can't just come on and be wonderful like you and be a happy-go-lucky person. It's not exciting to watch that.
Is it a function of the cameras, though? So the producers are heating things up, or is it a function? Oh, Jackie says no.
I absolutely have to disagree with that, only because me and my husband have done 2 reality shows, and both of them have been successful. We did Christie's Committed on BET. It was a hit show, and we was lovey-dovey, like we are normally, and we survived, and now we're doing this.
Those are the characters that you were. There were other people who were on the show.
Jackie, my understanding is you have to kind of stay on top of your husband. They're women throwing themselves
You know what?
at
I
him.
love that, Dr. Drew, and I love being challenged like that, because this show, that's why they got to tune in September 10th, 2012, because you're going to see my husband actually does rebuttal me on certain things, but most of the time I'm right, so why not? I mean,
but there you know, but that's your character. You are already that type of assertive woman, which does cause drama. If you're not that type of character and you're being told by producers to step it up a notch, you're going to step it up a notch.
But Marni, it doesn't seem to be exclusive. I'll let Judge in just one second. It doesn't seem to be exclusive to people who has cameras in their home. Other celebrities seem to have difficulty maintaining their relationships when there's a lot of public scrutiny. My research, and I've the only published research in the world on this, shows that the people who become celebrities have the kinds of liabilities that make it very difficult for them to have relationships.
Really?
Yes, they have lots of trauma, lots of addictions. Judge Toller, you agree with me or disagree?
I agree with you totally, and I think the celebrity itself ratchets that up, because when you're a celebrity, the world is all about you, and you're used to hearing the word yes, but in a relationship, hearing yes all the time is not what occurs. You have people watching you, you have people liking you and loving you and wanting you, and you have plenty of opportunity to do the wrong things. Celebrity does put a lot of extra stress and pressure, and people who are celebrities tend to have a different sort of personality that is more exuberant and may lead to more difficulty.
That's right, Judge. I agree with you.
As well, that I think a lot of people who are celebrities, as you said, they don't really have to do any work to get them a yes answer. They're typically hearing yes all the time. And relationships are about work, and it's about setting your ego aside. So if your work is driven by ego, then you're going to have an ego in your relationship, which is going to be a fault.
Take some calls. Paulette in Utah. Paulette, go right ahead.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Paulette?
I believe marriages are hard without the glare of TV to begin with.
You may.
And I think these couples who choose to go in front of the camera, it just seems many of them, not all of them, but many of them are doomed.
Paulette, let me interrupt you. How old are you?
I'm 60 years old.
How long have you been married?
I was married for 25 years.
What happened?
I left an abusive relationship.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And but now, now I agree with you, Paulette. But Jackie, you're sort of bucking the trend.
I definitely feel like we're bucking the trend, and I'm not saying that we're perfect. No, we're not. And it's funny because I noticed that, you know, she's right. It is harder when you're a celebrity, and sometimes I think, you know, if me and Doug's have an argument, oh my God, I'm so glad the cameras are not here. But it's not that I think that they're going to affect our relationship, because we're committed to the commitment. That's what our books is all about. It's about me and Doug, and this is who we really are. We forget the cameras are there. But God forbid that one day when an argument does break out, because then you have the media that comes in on top of it,
picking
and that
sides
is what,
and everything.
there you go. And
I
then it's
see.
Team Jackie, Team Doug.
Right. Judge, you wanted to comment on that?
Well, I was just saying that we're always talking about what's happening on the cameras and in the cameras and once you're in the relationship. But I often see amongst celebrities, and I'm not just talking about reality celebrities, but I think that they get married too quickly and everything is a rush.
Yep.
And the love is fantastic and all of their life is really like a fairy tale.
Yep.
Like, this is too. He's the right guy.
That's the personality problem. That's the stuff that came up in my research. They have personality liabilities, let's call them. They're not necessarily healthy emotionally, so they're prone to these over-dramatized, over-idealized relationships. Courtney in Louisiana. Courtney.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Courtney.
My view on this is that you look at the track record of these reality shows and what they've done to marriages. You look at Nick and Jessica, Hulk Hogan and his wife Linda, and most recently Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries. I mean, why would you want to put your marriage under even more scrutiny than it already is in the public eye?
Well, Courtney, that's an interesting question. I wonder if now with the three of us, Judge Toller, myself, and Marnie, you, have spouses who say no cameras, and I happen to agree with my spouse. But do you think sometimes this is driven, Jackie, by one spouse more than the other, and that really heats up a conflict just in and of itself?
I definitely do, and I've gotten married 17 times to my husband, and we've been through two reality shows.
Hold on.
Oh, yes.
Got married 17 times. I have to stop there. We'll start up with understanding how you got married 17 times. The same guy, I hope?
The same guy.
Okay, good, good. All right, next up, more on celebrity love affairs that didn't make it and why. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sex and Relationship Wednesday. Back with me, host of Divorce Court, Judge Lynn Toller, relationship expert Marni Kinrys, and star of Basketball Wives, Jackie Christie. Okay, now, before we went to break, I heard that Jackie had been married 17 times, and the thought bubble in my head was, oh, another woman writing books about marriage. We've been married 17 times, but then I realized it's been the same guy.
Same guy.
Explain that.
Yes, we got married. He proposed on a Friday. We got married on a Tuesday. Some of the people in our family couldn't make it, so we decided, you know, on our anniversary, let's do it again. And then we loved it so much, we decided, let's do it every year, and it's become a family tradition, and it's actually taken off around the country. People are starting to get married again, and let's bring sexy back to marriage.
I may get angry with you because now my wife's going to pick that up, and that sounds like an expensive proposition.
I'm saying that to my husband right now.
Yes.
See, damn you, Jackie.
Bad influence.
Judge Toller.
Dr. Drew, can I?
Yes, please, but I was
just going to.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, before we leave the subject of Chad and Evelyn totally, I want to say that I've been a judge. I was a judge in a municipal court for years, and I did hundreds of domestic violence cases. When we get past all of the relationship stuff, I think it's really important to know that if, in fact, domestic violence was involved and her decision to leave was immediate as it was, that needs to be highlighted and remembered, because that is the concern that I would see in my court for domestic violence, and women who try to work it out, or even men who try to work it out in domestic violence relationships. I applaud it, and I say the one blow you go rule should always apply.
So, Judge, I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. Are you saying do try to work it out when there's violence, or try to get out?
Absolutely.
Get out of there.
Get out completely. A lot of women try to work it out.
Right.
And I just want to applaud the fact, if there was domestic violence here, people need to note that she left immediately.
Yes.
And that is something that you should follow.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. That was going to be my next question to you. It was about this very issue, and the fact that, let's listen to what Judge Toller said. If you're in a domestic violence issue, if it comes to pushing, shoving, and let's face it, even emotional abuse, and you consult with a professional, their first and foremost priority is going to be getting you out of there.
Are you saying getting out of the marriage or getting out of the relationship? Or are you saying getting out of the space that you share together?
Usually listen, we had a guy on last night who himself was an abuser, and it took him 10 years of work to become not an abuser. So by and large, it's about separating these people, and they do their own work, and then they make decisions later about the relationship. So it's
and you have to leave safely as well. I mean,
Yes.
it's sometimes when you haven't, it could be the most dangerous time in a relationship when the woman or the man does actually leave. So you need information first. Make the decision to do something, but do it safely, and you need information to do it safely.
It's why when we see professionals or judges like Judge Schaller see Rihanna and Chris Brown getting back together, we hold our breath because we know it's going right back where it left off.
absolutely.
Yeah, so we got to remember that. Let's go to some calls. Dee in Illinois. Dee?
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Dee?
My question or my concern is about Evelyn's behavior. I watched Basketball Wives for a couple of seasons, and I noticed how violent she was. And so I was concerned when she said that Chad Johnson should get the help he needs, but where's her help?
Okay, who wants to take that?
I agree with
Marnie.
that. I think it's both people that are in the relationship. Number one, you have to look at why you've stayed in that relationship so long, if it's been an abusive relationship, as well as looking at your own behavior. If she's been aggressive and violent in the
and
public
also
eye.
attracted to abusive guys. Jackie, have you ever been in an abusive relationship?
Actually, you know what? I have. Back prior, I've been married before my husband, so yeah, you can count me as the
18
most
times.
married.
You've
in-
married
in
18
life.
times.
Actually, 3 times before this marriage. So it goes deep, Dr. Drew. But I was looking for my prince, and I finally found it, and I'm happy.
Did you have any kind of work? Did you work on yourself in any way?
Definitely,
emotionally?
I did. I realized that I was getting into relationships where I was the needer and I was needy and I wanted that picket fence, and I had this idea in my head, and I had to come to a realization after my second marriage that it's probably something that I needed to work on myself and not look for in someone else. And luckily I found Doug, and I'm happy, but I was in an abusive relationship, and that first time when I got hit, I left immediately.
Good.
So I've always told women, get out, and I'm more of an aggressive type. If you hit me, you're going to get hit back, where there's a lot of women that's not like that.
And Judge Schaller, what do we do with people that want to take aim at Evelyn? Because she is aggressive, it doesn't mean she deserved a giant gash in her forehead.
Absolutely not. And when you say aggressive and aggression, if you're talking about verbally, or if you're loud and demonstrative and all of that, that's one thing. But at no time does that invite or justify getting hit or getting hurt. Now, she may want to tone down her aggressiveness because it might cause somebody who is not level and not doing the right thing to go for her. And she might want to work on that for herself. But at no time does any amount of excitement does that entitle someone to hit you.
No, you're absolutely right. It doesn't mean that you deserve a punch in the face.
But it means you need to do some work.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, even if you're just going after guys that are abusive, you need to do some work. Even if you're passive and you're going after guys who are abusive, you need some work.
You need to do some work.
I want to say
I got to take a break, Jackie, so make quick.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
I'm an aggressive person, and as you can see on my show, I'm that way. But that doesn't give my husband the right to ever put his hands on me regardless. So I don't want it to be blamed on Evelyn that she was loud, and that's why she
We agree. Okay, guys, thank you. Very good. We're going to have more on this after the break. Back with me, host of Divorce Court, Judge Lynn Toller, relationship expert Marni Kinrys, and star of Basketball Wives Los Angeles, Jackie Christie. Now, guys, I want to talk about the sort of collateral damage of all this. There are often kids involved. People's sort of emotional health, I bet, is affected by having to withstand this onslaught of, there's a lot of negativity on social media, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people are brutal and cruel. I want to say something. People, they worry about kids on video games and that are violent. Hey, kids act out on real people through social media in unbelievably violent ways, and it really is something that needs to be addressed. And I'm sure the kids of these marriages get affected through all that.
It's horrible. Like, even for me, I have a whole bunch of videos out on YouTube, and people say the meanest things. And in the very beginning, it crushed me, and I would cry when I would read them. And then I started feeling bad for those people. And so, yeah, I would say that the children of these divorces or of any domestic violent situations, they have to.
But the added pressure of the public. I mean, a product of divorce is always bad times.
It is horrible, especially when you have a father that's a professional athlete and a mother that's on there. And that's what I think about all the time. Oh, my God, if my marriage was to fail, what would it do to my 11-year-old son who's on social media? This is what they're doing nowadays. That generation is all about reading what's being posted.
And
so.
Judge Toller, you must see more of this than any of us.
Yeah, I do. I mean, social media, there is rarely a case I see in divorce court these days where there isn't some kind of social media involved. They conduct a whole separate life on social media, and then they become investigators. I'm looking at his Facebook page. I'm breaking into this passcode.
Wow.
I'm looking at this phone thing and text messages. They print them out. It's amazing, but it becomes a whole separate life unto itself, and it's contentious and it's breaking a lot of people apart.
Yes.
Bob in Pennsylvania, you had a comment for us, Bob?
Hey, Dr. Drew. I was wondering, how did we become so involved into the celebrities' personal lives? And it's like, not only do we get involved in it, we search out for the most negative things you can think of.
That, Bob,
never mind the positive.
great question. Who wants to take that? Is that what it is, Marnie? Oh,
Yeah,
Marnie
I
first.
think
Each
so.
of you will comment.
Well, you're on
Marnie
a
first.
reality show, so
I
like,
get beat up, Marnie, like you would not believe, for no reason.
what
I'll
is
post
it?
a
Why do
good
they
comment.
care? What-
They hate it. They hate me.
But
They
why
hate what
are
I
people
do.
caught up in this? What does it say?
have no
This is the
idea.
thing, Judge Toller. I'll give you the last word on this. What does it say about us, the viewers, the population at large, that we are so caught up in this and so vile towards people in the public media?
I think there's a sense of separation these days. It's hard to be so mean if you're looking someone in the eye, face to face, room to room. I think the distance that internet creates gives us such a sense not only of anonymity, but just lack of empathy.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
allows
I think
us
people-
to view and be lurid and enjoy other people's difficulties. Their life is worse than mine. Let's get
It
some
is
popcorn
a
and watch it.
concern because aggression promotes a drop in empathy, and we are encouraging aggression. Thank you, Judge Toller, Marni Kinrys, and Jackie Christie. And, of course, more of your all calls after the break.